What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. I just wanted to say real quick, if you enjoy the video, if you could give me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. And feel free to make any comments you have about opinions or questions. Hope you guys enjoy. What's up, guys? Today we are going to go through 6 excellent pocket knives for the money. All 6 of these knives I'm about to show you, I have carried a good bit. I've used for multiple different purposes. Had them long enough that I could kind of verify their endurance, capability of how long they can last. But one thing I will say about this list, they're not in a ranking from 1 to 6 based in the order I show you. They're just 6 really great knives for the money and kind of a little bit of a varied price range, actually. So it'll be interesting. So with that being said, the first knife I want to show you is the CRKT Vox Pyatt. So this is definitely on the cheaper, very affordable end of the knives in this list. But this knife, I believe it's 8CR13 steel, CRKT, as I mentioned. It's got like a 2-inch blade on it. Nice little flipper, the thumb hole, I guess you could just call it. Strong clip on it. Cool design. Nice little blue flash on it as well. Very light, lean, just a liner lock knife. There's nothing too crazy about it. I think the ergonomics are pretty good. It came very sharp, and really no complaints about the knife. However, regarding the topic of all of these knives, being that great knives for the money, this knife, so based on Blade HQ is where I got this one from. They have this one on sale. It's been on sale for the last like 2 months. I don't really foresee this going off sale anytime soon. I think it's just kind of a sales tactic to say it's on sale. But this knife is $20. For 20 bucks, this is a great little pocket knife to have, especially if you're looking at really only having one. Maybe you just needed a smaller one, decent blade, or you're not really someone who's into buying, Benchmade price knives or anything even close to that. I think for $20, this is up there on my list of what knife I would get if my budget was $20. I mean, really up there. Cool little feature. They do give you the option, you could change the clip size, so I guess it's an ambidextrous clip for what that is worth. But yeah, the first knife, CRKT Vox Pyatt. I will go ahead and add the link to all of these knives. I should be able to do down in the description. But yeah, very affordable $20 knife. I wasn't really expecting it, but I'm able to flip it pretty good too, just for when that's fun for certain people. I certainly love to do it, but wasn't expecting it out of this knife, but I'm able to, so that's pretty sweet. I've had this one for several months now and carried it a good bit just because it's so light and small, and I just really like the flash of blue on it. I don't know why, but yep, knife number 1, the CRKT Vox Pyatt. Knife number 2, I feel like this one is much less known out there, and this is the Western Active Honey Badger. So this is also 8CR13 steel, so it is a budget steel, but I really don't have any problems with it. You could say it's slightly too soft. You can go a little bit harder, of course, so this knife, much bigger than the first one. I think the blade is just over, over a 3-inch blade. I think it's actually really close to 3.5. But I want to say the handle is over 4 inches. So it's kind of like a full-size pocket knife, I guess you could use that wording, but fits in your hand great. It's not spring assist either, but it has nice flipper action as well. I've really enjoyed this knife since I got it, carried it a good bit, put this one through some more heavy duty challenges. It did perfectly fine. I think it has good ergonomics. This is the first and only Honey Badger knife that I have, but it most likely will not be the last after having some experience with this one. Now, as far as price, this is right at $40. And I gotta say, they really go all out on this knife in the sense that they have really good packaging with it. Send you a sticker, if I remember correctly. So it just shows that this company, that they care about their product that they're sending out. Nice little liner lock, works well, obviously. But yeah, this just had to make it on my list of knives that are just really getting a good bang for your buck. I guess you could say that it doesn't necessarily have to be budget. This video is not necessarily budget oriented. But when you're talking like great knives for the money, like every dollar you're putting in is really worth it. This knife certainly hit home to me as one that definitely had to make it in the video. It's got nice little green, it's like a plastic scales on it, but it does have a stainless steel center, so it is nice and strong as well. But yeah, the Honey Badger definitely makes it on the list. Up next, this one's probably going to be arguably the most controversial and maybe just too cheap for some people, but for me, I like it, partly just because of the design, the looks. But yes, this is an MTech knife, and it makes it on here because of the goal of these knives, and that is good knives for the money. These knives are like $13. They're huge. They're just stainless steel. This is a spring assist. You can see how strong that spring was, and it comes with a cool design on it. So honestly, for $13 for this one, I figured if I never used it, I would just let this sit in my room. And I wouldn't be upset because there's the American flag and Don't Tread on Me on it. So two things that I love. But yeah, for $13, I have not been disappointed. And like I said, it's big. So if I want to carry a beefy pocket knife, this is usually my go-to. It's nice and heavy as well. Don't mind that. It doesn't come razor sharp. Of course, for $13, there isn't going to be anything super, super awesome about it. But it's very easy to sharpen because it is a relatively soft steel when you in comparison to like 1095 and D2 steel. But for kind of normal tasks, it's obviously is done fine. I've had it for over a year. I've never experienced a problem. And the locking works really well. So it's safe, heavy duty, one big hunk of metal with a good spring in it. So for $13, for me, this had to make the list. So yeah, MTech. I forget what they title these. Their titles of their knives are so weird. Yeah, like the MX A8, I guess, abbreviation. But anyways, yeah, I'll attach it, the Amazon link to it, if the $13 intrigues you. It certainly intrigued me, and I'm not really disappointed in my purchase over a year ago at all. So, up next, we're going to go Boker Plus Strike automatic knife. This is the only automatic in the list because I feel most automatic knives or switchblades, whatever you want to call them, are a little bit overpriced. I guess just the technology, the mechanisms, moving parts of making them fully automatic just tends to be more expensive. But Boker, I feel in a way, calls out a lot of people and a lot of other companies on this knife. So the handle is stainless steel. I'll just show that action again, not to go out of the way of the order I was talking about it, but so you can see the action is nice. It has a lock that works very well. It's just a nice little push button, and the blade is D2 steel. D2, excuse me. So technically a budget steel, but I really love the steel. It's just a stainless steel handle, and it's colored. This one's the green one. They have so many options. They also have different blade options, and they have a mini version. This is the Plus Strike. They have a mini strike as well. But this knife comes in at right around $60 to $65. As far as I know, there's no other fully automatic knife you could get that is actually good that's under $100. I'm sure there's one out there. I actually hope somebody lets me know in the comments like, hey, there is this one that is good. But as far as I've experienced, known, and even shopped for, I haven't seen one that is good, that's at least D2 steel and is safe to use in anything. The Boker has made the Plus Strikes, and I think they are excellent. So as far as bang for your buck, you can even, this has almost its own category of, automatic or switchblade knife that is not very expensive. Just all the other ones that come to mind are really higher end brands, very expensive. And granted, the material is better as well, but they're just very, very expensive. So I had to add this to the list. So yeah, the Boker Plus Strike, like I said, of course, I'll attach the link to this knife in the description. I've had this for over a year as well, so this is not something I've had for like 2 months and I'm saying it's great. I've had this really probably getting closer to 2 years. I've used it a good bit. The automatic action's still great. The locking mechanism works excellent, and it came nice and sharp, and it's D2 steel. Absolutely love it. So yeah, this is knife number 4, the Boker Plus Strike. Up next, a knife I think we all know and love, the Civivi Elementum. So this knife, I think, what's the blade? I think the blade's around 2 inches as well. It might be like 2.25. It's also D2 steel, metal or stainless steel handle, excuse me. Of course it's metal. But nice little flipper action here. Whoops, of course I mess up. Little flipper there we go. On this knife, I haven't had this one for too long. I've had it for a couple months now, but I don't really think this knife needs any introduction or convincing as to why it is a great knife, especially it comes in right at $50. Civivi has been doing really great with knives recently. They have so many options, so many color and design options, even on this model. But this is my favorite model that they have that I've currently experienced and used. I think that is many people's opinions. It's a nice liner lock and it's really smooth handling in there. I'm not really sure how they did that. It's just smoother than most other liner locks that I deal with. But yeah, like I said, this is almost like a gentleman's size EDC knife size, nice and slim. But overall, excellent knife. For $50, I really don't think you could get much better. For D2 steel, like I've already said, slightly budget, but when you're getting into your D2 steel and you're at $50 and under, I would say you're looking at a fairly good deal, just to be honest. So yeah, Civivi Elementum definitely had to be on the list. And then last but not least, and just a reminder, like I said, this was not an order of 1 to 6 or 6 to 1. This is just in general 6 knives that I think are good for the money. And the last one I'm going to show is going to be the Spyderco Tenacious. Now, I got to admit, there's probably multiple other Spydercos that could have made it on the list. But the first 5 I had were actually all knives under $100. So I figured I would go ahead and kind of stay in that affordable realm, even though the title and point of this video wasn't necessarily that. It just kind of seemed to be the trend of the knives I picked out to use. So yeah, Spyderco Tenacious. I love Spydercos for the reason that you can flip. I can flip with my thumb, or I guess that's my middle finger. But I just think that is so fun to do back and forth between both. And obviously, we all know Spyderco. They make great knives. I think they have some of the best ergonomics. This one, it is an 8 CR, so 13 steel. So fairly budget steel, but obviously we all know Spydercos are usually very expensive because they do have nicer steels. So if you don't like this one simply for the steel, just go get a more expensive one. It's a better steel for pretty much same ergonomics and whatnot. But this one is right at like $60 on Amazon. So Spyderco for $60. It's got all its good ergonomics, good flipper action, fairly big size pocket knife too. I've liked that a lot. And it's just a slightly budget steel, but nothing wrong with it. I will say with the Spyderco, you can tell it's a strong knife. They got some thick stainless steel now for the handle with a really grippy plastic attachments on there, and the clip has been really good as well. So yeah, for $60, Spyderco Tenacious. I know this has been referred to by some other people as just kind of like the baseline for a pocket knife. I think that's a pretty accurate description of this knife, and overall it has been just excellent pocket knife. Really interesting about this, I actually may choose to do this. It looks like I can take the clip off and put it on this side or put it down here on either side as well. I think I actually am going to put it down here. I kind of like that better. But yeah, love the flipper action on this. This is probably my favorite to just flip for fun, to be honest, out of all the ones I showed, even over the spring assist and the automatic. I guess that's not really considered flipping. But anyways, but yeah, so Spyderco Tenacious, Boker Plus Strike, MTech, super budget knife. Civivi Elementum, the Honey Badger, Western Active Honey Badger, and the CRKT Vox Pyatt. That's the 6 I got for you guys. I'd be curious if you guys have any other knives that you really feel were that really gave you a bang for your buck, were good quality, not crazy expensive. Even if they were expensive, if it felt like you underpaid for the knife. I guess that's a good way to talk about this MTech. It was $13. I felt, even though it is cheap material, it's MTech. It didn't come super sharp. It's big, it's heavy, had a really nice spring in it, and it's worked well for me. I mean, I put it this way: I wouldn't have been upset if I paid $25 for it. I would talk about it pretty much the same even if I paid $25 for it. But I only paid $13, so that's a really good reason why it made it in the list. But if you have any knives that you feel were just like, wow, this actually, like, I would still be happy even if I paid more for the knife. Like, it's a really good knife sitting out there to get for the money. Let me know in the comments, just for anyone else to see that I can see. Might already have it, might be my next video, you never know. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed the video, if you could hit the thumbs up for me, I would greatly appreciate it. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time.